Is oh, hey, you know what that is? That's something that's going to be coming to us right now. That music is the intro for a man who, as we all know, as a multi-talented musician, producer, recording artist, session musician, and he is the master of the
Oh, solid.
yes,
Solid hit.
freaking almost posted it.
Oh,
John Mattox from Creating Music and Sound on Instagram, and well, uh-oh, he didn't click in. Click the wrong button. Hey, welcome to the Random Christian Show. There he is. Hey.
Now I know you guys are absolutely insane. in the best possible way. But I want to know, where did you find the 7th graders?
Oh,
I own one at the moment.
You own a 7th grader?
I do, yeah.
It's his son's 7th grade class.
Yeah.
So it was a 7th grader, not 7 graders.
That's true. Correct. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
No,
I
yes,
thought you had
true.
pulled like a 7th grade class.
No.
Well, it's him and his crew.
Yeah.
His
Yeah.
home.
So he's got his little Fortnite running buddies right now, and I pay them in V-Bucks to do this for us.
If we're fortunate, we'll hear him cursing at it soon enough.
Thankfully now the way that Oregon does the school clocks here, he's actually at school now. So
as far as you know,
only on days
as far
off,
as you know,
we get to hear him swearing in the background.
Well, not swearing, but he.
No.
Dude! Oh!
Yeah, he's very
Yeah.
into his game, of course. Yes.
By the way, Christian, that was perfect timing on the breakdown.
Oh,
that was really well done.
It was a little behind, but I was close, and I'm happy with it. So
It sounded perfect here.
well, there's a delay over there, so it's you're on the West Coast. I'm in.
Don't hold it against me.
Right.
John, welcome to the show, my man. Thank you so much for finally giving in to my constant pleading and begging to have you on. It has been a while in the works, but dude, I'm so glad to have you on, man. And hopefully it's not a big regret for you. So there we go. All right. So let's start in the beginning here. Okay, again, the Young Dubliners, is that correct?
Yeah, say it 3 times fast.
Nope. I can barely. Again, 60 years old. I'm about to stroke out as it is. Okay. So now, is that where it all started? I mean, did you grow up in a musical family? What's going on?
Yeah, my dad is a musician. So the one thing I think that makes me who I am today was having a dad who was not only a musician, he was a jazz musician. He was a trombone major in college, but he also played piano. He played drums. He played bass. He was like a multi-instrumentalist. And like
nice.
my earliest memories of being a kid is hanging out in his music room, listening to music. And fortunately for me, he was into the Beatles and the Rolling Stones. And so I grew up with that just in my head, in the world all the time.
Now it's very interesting you say the Beatles and the Stones and stuff, because like my father was very big into jazz. Huge oh gosh, now I can't remember some of anyway. Big band, a lot of big band and stuff like that. And just despised rock and roll. And I'm like, and as I got older, I was like, I'm listening to rock and roll. Well, I'm listening to pop, and then I phased into rock and roll. And I always appreciated jazz. I always thought, especially big band, the way that it's all coordinated and put together, so many instruments at one time, and classical music. Did your dad, just because he just loves music, he just appreciates all kinds, or was he?
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, he's a huge classical music buff too. Like, I've learned a lot about the history of classical music through him. So yeah, he's he's a lover of all music, basically.
Yeah. No, see, that's cool. That's cool. So he's got an open mind, and I've learned to appreciate many different genres of music and styles and forms. Now, as a musician yourself, I'm sure you come to the same kind of realization that music is music. It's just different forms and different styles. What is your main the Young Dubliners, which I won't say three times? Um, what kind of what was that, like an alternative or rock?
Well,
Or
that was like the first professional band, original band that I was in, because I grew up in Orange County, which is, south of LA.
oh yeah,
And when I was first playing music professionally as a drummer, I was in Orange County playing gigs, 21, 22. And I'll never forget, I was playing some casual, like at a business function, like at a Hilton hotel or something. And I'm playing with a dude that's probably in his 40s, younger than I am now. But at that time, this was an older guy. And we're playing. And at some point, I just thought, is this it? Is this my music career? Like, I'm already doing this same kind of gig that this guy who's older than me is playing. Like, this doesn't feel like the music business to me. And not knowing anybody in LA or anything like that. And there is a bit of a divide, at least there was back then, between
yeah,
Orange County musicians and LA musicians.
oh
Yeah.
yeah,
And I was fortunate to study drums with a great mentor named Roy Burns. And speaking of big bands, he played in Benny Goodman's band, Woody Herman's band, Lionel
oh
Hampton.
yeah. There you go, Woody Herman. Thank
No
you.
way.
So he was, he was a young guy playing with those guys back in the day.
Yeah,
In fact, some of his friends kind of made fun of him because he was playing in these kind of older swing bands, and the newer jazz had become popular.
all
But
the
Right.
bebop and stuff like that.
but it was a gig. And anyhow, he gave me some really good advice. He just said, maybe you should find a good original band in LA to find and play and work with. Because I literally didn't know anybody. And that's led to finding the Young Dubliners, which turned out to be a band that a friend of mine, a guitar player friend of mine, was in. And yeah, they were three Irish guys at that time, and the rest were Americans, but they were based out of Los Angeles. So essentially, the band was some of the music was taking Irish ballads and then rocking them out.
Like
Oh,
kind of like
wow.
the Pogues in a way, except
Kind of like
not
the
as
Pogues,
punk.
not quite as punk as Flogging Molly. Like
Right.
Okay,
Flogging Molly was around the same time.
right.
But the difference was, like, Young Dubliners did original music too, and
Yeah,
so it was a combination. But we got signed to a label called Scotty Brothers, and I did my first touring with that band, the first album, like, releases with that band. So it was a really good band to be in at that time.
nice,
That's
nice.
awesome.
So yeah, and that was still around. You said you were in your 20s, so that was like right before the big ska punk explosion out there.
Yeah, I guess.
Good.
Yeah, you could say that. This was in the '90s. Like, I
Yeah,
basically left that band in like '99, right at the millennium. So my '90s were pretty much consumed for 6 years in being in that band.
nice, nice. Okay, well, dude, that's awesome. Now,
Yeah.
and then you decided, which I know lots of musicians do, that I want to control what people are listening to and how they listen to it. So I'm going to become a producer and recording engineer. Maybe not along those lines, but something like that. Or
Well, those things kind of evolved. Like when my wife and I moved and bought a house, one of the things we wanted was like a detached garage that I could like practice in, because up until then we were living in apartments. I had kind of a typical rehearsal studio like in downtown LA. I couldn't play drums or store
Right.
drums in an apartment. And so basically, from having a place to actually keep my stuff, and I started to get into recording. I had a band called Laughing with Lulu, which was my own band that I wrote the songs. I played guitar, sang. I kind of did the Dave Grohl thing,
Yeah.
I was going to say you did a Clark Kent.
or even better.
Yes,
Um,
yes, it
and
is because it's
we were self financed, and like a lot of people out there who can't afford to go to a studio, we ended up recording ourselves, and we did this in the living room of our house. And at some point, I don't know where my wife got this idea, but at some point she said, maybe you should turn the garage into a studio. And I'm like, honey, that's a great idea.
Well,
Why didn't I think of that?
You were whispering it in her ear every night.
I'm not going to say.
Yeah. We need to turn the garage into a studio.
But the short story is I built a studio. This is the smaller control room, and then I have a larger room for the drums. And the long story short is basically people I was playing with live around town, doing sessions with. At that time, in like 2005, is when I built the studio. Having a studio and being able to record was still pretty expensive at that time, because you had to have Pro Tools, and you had to have the hardware, and it was kind of cost prohibitive back then. But I jumped in, and because I could record drums too, people were like, "Oh, you can record drums?" And I ended up spending the first like 10 years recording people, producing people, mixing people, all that sort of thing. I go flying in here.
I just thought it was my hallucinogens coming back. But okay, so yeah, you did a lot of session work, is what you're saying, and
yeah, and in terms of that, I was, I did everything from comedy records to heavy metal records.
Wow.
I actually played on 2 Rob Halford records,
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I don't really talk about that stuff on my socials, because it's not about me, my socials are about wanting to help people, and hopefully inspire them. But, I've done some things.
We're here to know you, John. We want to know the man behind the magic that you make with creating music and sound.